Alright, welcome to the Nautilord Enjoys Guide to Souling Myrkul as a Gloomstalker. Full disclosure, this is being filmed after the fact. The run's already happened, the run's already been completed, but we've seen a lot of people struggling with Myrkul, going in, not really knowing how to handle it, having a build but not knowing how to handle the fight itself. So we've kind of put together this strategy that is not foolproof because rolls can kill your run. That's important in any solo, but it's really safe. And I'm going to go through the class and then I'll go through the build for you. So 5 levels of Ranger, Gloomstalker Ranger obviously. We're getting that for Dread Ambusher, Sharpshooter and extra attack. 3 levels of Rogue because we're getting that Assassin for the big crits in the first round. 1 level of Cleric and 1 level of Fighter. Cleric is giving us 3 War Priest charges, so that's 3 extra attacks and 1 extra attack on the first round, which is the crit. 1 level of Fighter, just because this is where the build was at the time. This is giving us is 1 AC. Now you could argue about going 2 levels of Fighter instead of Cleric, so you can have 2 extra attacks on the first round, so that's 2 crits, versus 1 extra attack on the first round, which is guaranteed crit, and then 2 in each consecutive following round. That's up to you. We just know this works. We know this is reliable, so this is what we're going for. We've got Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength because we're level 10, and you can buy them from Last Light. 18 Dex because we realise, you know, if we're going to go for a feat, you're obviously going to go for Sharpshooter and not Dex. 18 Con. This is from our armor and obviously the base. We've dumped Wisdom because we're using the Shard buffs. We got the Shard buffs after we freed Aelin, which allows us to push our Charisma to 20. Why 20? Because you want to dialogue Ketheric. The items: Grimskull Helm, not giving us any damage but does give us anti-crits for if things go south. A lot of stuff in this build are for if you get screwed by rolls, this is here to help you. So we've got Grimskull Helm for anti-crit. We've got the Cloak of Protection, AC, again if it goes south. Saving Throw to keep up protection from good and evil. Dwarven Split Mail for the extra con that gives us, helps us with maintaining protection of good and evil. Obviously you get the Piercing, the Strength Saving Throws. They're helpful but minor. Piercing I don't think really applies. Gloves of the Automaton. Now we've decided on Gloves of the Automaton to keep the hits consistent. This is going to give us 10 turns of advantage, which is huge after the initial hit. You're not going to use all 10 turns, but having the advantage is nice to guarantee, well not guarantee, but to swing the dice more in your favour to get the more consistent hits, because you could go Flawed Helldust Gloves and get that extra 1d4 fire. You can do that if you want, but we find that this is more consistent and a more safer way to do this. Evasive Shoes, this is just AC. You can go things like the Misty Step Boots, blah blah blah, but more AC for if it goes south. If it goes well, we won't really need this. Blood of Lathander. This is the I'm dead, no I'm not item. We're not really using anything outside of this. It's called Dawn Grip Mace because it was consoled in for the purpose of this video. This is if things are going so bad, I'm about to die, this is the final net. This is the one thing that's going to save you. Safeguard Shield, +1 to saving throws, AC is nice, but +1 to saving throws again to maintain concentration on good and evil, which is vital. Periaptic Wound Closure. Now we've gone this, you can ignore the down mechanic, doesn't apply to solo, but the fact that when we heal and if we need to heal, we are maximising that heal potential to make this safer. We've gone Killer's Sweetheart for the extra crit on the second round. You can go Ring of Protection. That will help you maintain protection from good and evil, but also a little bit of extra AC. Instead of 24, you'll be 25 if it goes south. Whispering Promise. In our opinion, Whispering Promise is an absolute must-have ring for vast majority of builds and classes until you get to Act 3. Whispering Promise is going to help us land those shots more consistently, and the saving throws that we also get from it is also going to help us keep protection from good and evil. Titan Stringbow. Titan Stringbow, which has been buffed with the glaive, the Drakethroat glaive, to give us an extra +1 and to give us that 1d4 thunder. This is just standard. This isn't specific to this fight. This is if you're using Titan String, you do this. Buy that from Rower. Use Draconic Elemental Weapon to buff Titan String. You're winning. Right, so that's the build. Sure you get the gist of it. Sure you can see what we're doing here. Just to reiterate, There are a number of elements in this build which are defensive focused, might seem like a bit much in this video, but again, they're there for if it goes south, because it can go south. By all means, switch out items if you want to get a quicker kill, but again, you're putting yourself at risk by doing that as well. So yeah, let's get into the fight. Right, to start out, got our little boys here, and in total we've got us, Scratch, Azza, who's a minor elemental, and then the fire elemental as well. So that we've got them there to help us do what we need to do, and we're going to explain that as we go. You see those red glowy pools on the ground? Those are invis pots on the ground. There's 1 for you, 4 for the rest of your summons. We're going to utilize this. We're going to go into this clean, smooth, prepared, and planned, because we don't want to use anything else. No barrels, no nothing like that. We need to hit this guy and kill him, and then keep the necromites away as much as we can. So we're pre-casting Mirror Image, pre-casting Mage Hand, pre-casting the Gloves of the Automaton ability, popping a fly and a Potion of Accuracy, and we're going to fly right over to the Mind Flayer, and we're going to get behind him. You can pop it now, but you know, it's up, it's 10 turns, we don't need 10 turns, so just get it in you, then you can't forget it. And then what we're going to do, they're going to take the Mage Hand, we're going to fly it over here, which we have pre-placed haste spell grenades that we got from the Myconic colony. And then we're going to pass our turn to get all our abilities back, all the bonus actions, all the actions. We're going to hit him with an Aberration Slaying Arrow, and this is going to hit the shit out of him. We're going to kill him as quick as possible. He needs to go, can't get stunned. If you get stunned, you're looking at a potential run ender. Once we dialogue Ketheric, again this is why we have the 20 charisma from the Sharbuth as well, just to guarantee this. We skip his phase and go straight into Myrkul, who is now surprised. Before we continue the fight, we're going to start using the summons. We're going to use this Mage Hand to throw the haste spell grenades that we placed on the ground pyre to buff us, so we don't have to do that. We can keep all our action economy for us and hitting Myrkul. And then before we do anything, we take Scratch. We're going to run him through an invis pot. Make sure he runs through it. Don't just run through it on the way to Aelin. Make sure to wiggle him around, because he can skip it and he can get caught in combat, and the fight's infinitely harder then. Free Aelin. Scratch, we'll leave him for now because he can't get a turn, and we'll explain his single UCS on this turn. Fire Elemental, we're going to again walk it through an invis pot, take it up the top. This is going to handle the Myconids. Not the Myconids, this is going to handle the Necromites. Those aren't mushrooms, those are skeletons. We're going to use his AoE attack to hit all of them. Now, you do get a free one after this when he enters combat, but that's a bit cheesy. So just for the purposes of this video, we're not going to use it. That's up to you. Get a free fire AoE on them, kill them quicker, that's fine. But I'm going to skip the turn for now. Azza, again, invis pot, we're walking him up onto Myrkul, and we want him to hit. We're not really there for the damage. We want him to pull Myrkul off of us for our initial hit. And I believe it hits, so it does hit. Then he uses Gaze of the Dead instead of being on us and risking being frightened. Us is there for the same reason, but since Azza's just done it, we're just going to go up and hit Myrkul. Any extra damage is great, chances are he'll miss, and we're going to use these two to pull Gaze of the Dead off of us and onto him. I think I hit. Yeah, I hit a Necromite here because I don't need to hit Myrkul, so I might as well try and help Fire Elemental whittle down these Necromites just to minimise any potential heal threat later in the fight. Again, you can use his ability again, but it's kind of cheesy, so go for it. We're going to use Dread Ambusher to kill the Mind Flayer. You could use many target arrows and potentially hit Myrkul, but in more cases than none, I've seen them hit the Brain Boys down the bottom. So we're going to use the Dread Ambusher to kill the Mind Flayer, so we can have more special arrows on Myrkul as soon as possible. Do not use your Sweet Killer Sweetheart. Don't use your Killer Sweetheart ring and your free Illithid crit in this round. All crits are free. Pass them up, and we're just gonna lay into him. That's funny, we missed. We're just gonna lay into him as much as we can. Undead slaying arrows over and over and over and over again. Now we're in pump mode. There's no, for us, really, we're not really looking at Necromites now. We're just hitting Myrkul. Get as much damage as him as humanly possible. Getting that extra attack from the War Domain Cleric. He's going to skip his turn. Azza, getting off his final turn on this one. Mage Hand is fine. Scratch, we're using Scratch. We want to send him on the Brain Boys. Scratch isn't going to kill them, but he will cause them to have to stay there. So they can't run or they'll get attack of opportunity. So the Brain Boys will continue to fight Scratch or Alien if she joins in as well. I'd rather that be on Myrkul, but this time it wasn't. Scratch is there to try and keep them busy. We don't care about them. They don't exist to us right now. Mage Hand already threw it. Always check the haste spore, because sometimes it disappears. And then the next round you might want to throw the second one. That's why there's 2 and not 1. Sometimes it disappears. Fire Elemental. Get these Necromites down as quick as possible. Try and kill them. If they do start running, we can follow quite easily. Azza and Uz are just going to be hitting them again to try and bait out Gaze of the Dead. If it doesn't happen, that's a shame. But they don't really have a high chance of hitting him. So we're going to take Gaze of the Dead here. So again, pop a Raspberry for Bless from Whispering Promise. Undead Arrow repeatedly on Myrkul. We just want to keep hitting him over and over. We are using the crits for this time round because we're in round 2. So Assassin free crits aren't a thing anymore. I will note here as well, I didn't this time, space these 2 out. Space out Azza and Uz so they can't be hit together with that melee attack. That was my mistake. Not major, but it's just nice to space them out so they can't be both hit simultaneously. Sadly, Azza's not doing great. So these Necromites are going to start running now. We can use the Elemental to follow them. This is why we like the Elemental on this side, because you can use his little warp ability to hop right immediately down there. Some of them will sprint down, some of them will stand on the top and just try and hit you with cantrips. But they're not a threat right now. We can handle them. And we can kill him in time. Mage Hand's doing nothing. Chances are, because the Necromite's getting closer, it'll probably be killed. So we might as well just get that second haste ball grenade out there just to keep it up. Ideally, Alien goes on Myrkul ASAP, but chances are she'll miss or just deal no damage. Or incredibly low damage. Always move to get that haste ball grenade. It won't be on you if you stood in it. You need to move in it. Again, using the swap ability, want to pop down, and then use the AoE to try and clear out this Myconids. It's a bit messy with the way the map is, so go around the other side. So there's only 1 to deal with now. And then we go back to what we were doing. We're just pumping Myrkul. From these Gazes of the Dead as well, because of our saving throws, we're holding up good and evil. We're keeping it there, which is important. That stops us being frightened. If we get frightened, our hit chance drops. Bonus point of the gloves, because we have advantage, if our hit point drops, if our hit chance drops because of fear, it doesn't go to disadvantage, it goes neutral. Also a bonus point of the gloves. Without them, you get feared, you now have disadvantage, and you're kind of in trouble. Final round, get the haste ball grenades. There is a lot of Myconids, but we're trusting the process here. If you don't feel comfortable, you can many targets to get rid of some of them. But you have to know that you're going to kill them. You don't want to get trapped into killing Necromites. You need to kill him quick. Good and evil coming in strong. All our saving throws keeping it up. And that's Myrkul. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the fight or anything else like that, just drop them in the comment section. Be happy to answer them. And of course, don't forget to go over to Lord Enjoys on Twitch, and you can watch us batting our heads against the wall doing solo and duo honor mode runs. Have fun.